a bird game, chilling tonight. I got the nice relaxation behind me. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna talk some football, stay calm, possibly, and we're gonna enjoy the experience of Eagles Elite. I know we had min camp, you know what I'm saying, OTAs and everything. Had a lot of guys make plays, do some good things, a lot of interviews to talk about. And then we got this interesting list of top 12 wide receiver trios that we supposed to touch on a couple of weeks. We're not gonna front. But time got away from us and had a lot of things that kind of, meant had to chop it down a little bit. We're bringing it to you this week. It's still as ridiculous as it was then, in some aspects. So, and always, it's Philadelphia Eagles. We got to get back to the essence of the squad, right? No one likes us. Don't care. So that being said, we got a special guest. No, I'm just kidding. We got one of the co-hosts in the building.
No dirt special guest. What up? Stupid.
I'll be acting sometimes, y'all. I try to do better. I'm trying to do better. I'm working on it.
No, you're not. Don't let him lie to y'all. No, you're not.
That's how your people treat you, y'all. That's how your people treat you. But
hey, I know you.
Before we get any deeper into this, there's something we gotta do. So we're gonna do it.
The kick is away, and the kick it's gone! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
So yeah, we back. We already got some comments. Y'all know this is your spot for interactive Eagles talk. So we got Philly in the building. Philly says, I'm missing my birds and football.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We're not the only one, ma'am, especially with this finals that we've been getting for the NBA. But I digress. And then Benny Boom, the hat master in the building. With the Fly Eagles Fly. What up, Benny?
Fly Eagles Fly. What up, Benny?
I decided to put on the bucket today, Benny, but if it wasn't the bucket, it would have been the Benny Boom creation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I got my Benny Boom creation on all day.
I feel it. I'm not mad at it at all. Not mad at it at all. All right, y'all. So we're going to start off. Kick things going. So, Diva, any news or rumors or anything about our beloved Philadelphia Eagles?
I'm going to be honest. I ain't been able to keep up. Been working.
Well, I do have one piece of news, definitely. So, there has been film, not a lot because it didn't happen for long, of Philadelphia taking James Bradbury and trying to work him at safety. Let's just say it did not end well.
What did I say yesterday in the chat? Ballhead is still gonna get burnt. That's probably even worse for him to be is safety, unless you just don't have him.
The problem from the video that I saw, was that he was doing the backing up. I do the go up and then backup drill with the safeties, and it looks like he might have pulled something or just tripped and fell, and then he was gone after that. So it wasn't like there wasn't a lot. But at least they're open to putting him there, and he's open to being there, which could, I don't think my co-host is going to agree, but could be a benefit to the team.
Yeah, we'll see. If you just let that man, his job should be to give help underneath or over top. That's it. No more, no less. That's it. That's all.
She don't be giving them any breaks at all.
No. And won't.
There's also a lot of talk that we still might be the destination for Justin Simmons.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Right now, this is news because it's good-natured fun between two teams. So AJ Brown was doing his interview talking about running routes. So Quinyon Mitchell, everybody calls Q, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't talk much, doesn't say much anything. Guess what he did tell AJ Brown?
What?
The route you ran was trash. Yo, I love it, Quinyon Mitchell. I love it, bro. Like, I love it. And AJ laughed about it, right? He said, but I am gonna let him know, like, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So when I see you on this field, we're gonna see if it's trash. But I love that he said that. Like, AJ just like, bro, that route you ran was trash. And honestly, it might have been a trash route because AJ might have been, you know, still working into getting everything right and everything tight because they're still getting back into the swing of things too. But I love that he said it. It shows that my man got some huevos. We need huevos.
Yeah.
Benny also hits us with a fly Eagles fly. And then Benny says, I'm designing some Eagles fly wings for the upcoming season, but y'all will get them first before I put them on the market. Let's go.
Preview
for y'all.
Hot off the press.
And they'll be right here previewed for y'all. Benny gives us the heat. We bring y'all the heat.
Yeah, we're the models for Benny.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's what we do. And shout out to Benny, man. Y'all make sure y'all checking Benny Boom out. Follow that man and check out this quality products he be putting out there.
Yeah, go support the man. Y'all see he be giving quality products. Y'all see what we be having on. Like,
quality products. My head got messed up, y'all. My bucket head got messed up. I don't know what happened.
Y'all go pay NFL all that money. Go ahead and share some of the love with Benny. Yeah. In Philadelphia. Yeah, go share some love with Benny. He deserves it.
I paid all the NFL that money. Tell me you didn't just say that.
Yeah, because he is making all that money.
Tell me you just say that.
You need to support your local businesses.
I feel it. I'm mad at it. I support it. How about that? Even though I support it. So, I mean, there's other news things we could talk about, right? But I want to get into some of these interviews, right? I want to spend a lot of time on these interviews. Going from memory, y'all, there was a lot of interviews, so forgive me if I misspeak or I get a wrong word or wrong name for somebody. Just work with your boy because there was a lot of interviews, right? So AJ Brown interview, talked to AJ Brown. AJ Brown did what AJ Brown does, right? He talked about how he's wanting to be better every week. He talked about how he's wanting to help the team be better. He's excited to have guys back. He's not worried about who the third wide receiver is. He's just worrying about whoever's on the field getting it done. They really have a high love for Saquon Barkley. And this has been everybody. There we go. Finally got it right. Saquon Barkley. Everybody's been loving Saquon in the building. They say he works hard. He goes on the golf outings. He does a lot of things with the team to just build team morale outside of the field. AJ talked about how, hey, Billy's where he want to be. He loves the young corners. He told a story about Quinyon Mitchell. He also talked about how Devontae wasn't there for the voluntary activities, but they talked every day. He gave him an update, told him about the routes. They like the extra level of freedom that they're getting as wide receivers in this new system that Kellen Moore has brought. I haven't heard any negative things about Kellen Moore, but we are still in off-season activity. So we're not, we're not at training camp or anything yet. A prevailing thing is the young guys look good in 7-on-7 drills and stuff. The defense has definitely outplayed the offense so far. But when you have so many depth pieces on the defense, you should expect that. this week. And I bounce a little back and forth a little bit, y'all. So y'all know how I get down. So this week, another big thing, I'm gonna get Diva's thoughts on it. Was who played wide receiver 1 and 2. Not wide receiver, excuse me, cornerback 1 and 2. So this week you had Slay out there as a 1, and then I believe Mitchell played some 1. They have switched it up. Isaiah Rodgers worked with the second team. Still look dominant. I don't think it's that one person's going to play over another person necessarily. At this point, it's just getting everybody work to see what everybody can and can't do, what everybody's not good and good at. Rodgers got made some good plays with the 2s. Cooper DeJean. I want to say John because, Philly DeJean. That definitely should be a T-shirt, Benny. Cooper DeJean. I need you to get on that, sir. But yeah. He played well. He played some safety. He played some slot corner. He played a little outside, I believe, as well. So he looked good in the snaps that he got. He looks to have a good role. Oh, that's who I forgot. Keely Ringo actually had some good practices as well. He went up against A.J. Brown a few times. They had some good back and forth. A.J. Brown's a physical receiver. So they've been looking really well as far as getting into things. But again, it's 7-on-7s right now. So a lot of what AJ was saying too is like, and this is why I bring it back to him. A lot of what AJ was saying is everything looks great now, but right now we're in like the 7-on-7s. We'll see what it's like when we, full players out there. We'll see what it's like when we have pads on. We've been hitting a little bit and everything, and they've been doing a lot of conditioning. They make them do conditioning. Vic Fangio makes them do conditioning in the middle of practice. Offense and defense has to do conditioning. So we'll get into a lot of that because I've been listening to a lot of interviews and I'm trying to make sure that everything don't run together. So I kind of mentally cut myself off. Diva, so what are your thoughts on obviously AJ Brown said more than that, but AJ Brown's interview and some of the things that you've been hearing about what's been going on in the facility?
You gotta love AJ Brown. He's always talking about himself, taking accountability for himself, and just making sure that he's a better receiver year by year. Dude already a beast. You see his body this year. Like, I don't know who is going to be able to stop that man. That man is probably in the best shape of his life that he's ever been since he's been in football. Y'all be ready and be scared, okay? Because the boy's out there boxing and he out there just really honing in on his talent. He's gonna be unstoppable this year. But you gotta love a player like that who is always trying to make themselves better year by year. And it's good to hear that they feel like they have more freedom. I think that's the first time I've heard that. Even when Steichen was there, that they said they feel like they have more freedom. So that's a good thing. I think that them having freedom to be able to really hone in on their talents. And I think maybe hopefully Kellen Moore is seeing individual talents and know how to work with those talents and not just be, throwing in 1 or 2 players, hopefully. As far as Saquon, I'm really not surprised. He seems like he's a good dude. Of course, you're just from Philly. Of course, you're not going to like nobody from your division. And honestly, I think he's always wanted to be a Philly. He went to Penn State. I think he always probably wanted to be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles. It just didn't go that way when draft time came. But we'll just have to see how the boys stay healthy. That's my only concern with Saquon is him staying healthy. It reminds me of Odell Beckham. He can't really stay healthy. So, yeah, it seems like I haven't really watched a lot, but just from seeing bits and pieces, it seems like everybody's in a much better headspace. They're feeling good about this season. I know I hear a lot of talk about Vic Fangio from the defensive side of, how they like his schemes, how they like who he is and the way that he is teaching the defense. I'm hearing that Jalen's probably going to be a monster this year. Davis looks good. He's probably going to be a monster this year from what we've been wanting to see. I think that's probably going to come to fruition. So I'm just happy. I'm just ready to see this on the field. Like, it's good to hear, but you want all that to translate on the field. So I am ready to see this talent on the field because what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, it ain't no way that the Philadelphia Eagles should not be in the Super Bowl this year coming up. Period. That's it. That's all.
So I'm bringing Wyatt in here. What's up, Wyatt? Glad you were able to join the sir.
What's
going on, everybody?
So Benny says, you can't find these in any sports stores or online. You can only get them from Benny's Designs.
Go support that, man.
Yep.
Fact. And then Benny says he's on it about my Cooper DeJean t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? And then Benny also says, yesterday I watched the press conference from the coaches on defense, and I truly believe there won't be no mental breakdowns this season. There won't be any mental breakdowns this season. We had a lot of different ones to talk about. So Wyatt, I know you're just jumping in. I was basically talking about A.J. Brown, his press conference, and then, you know, some of the things that basically just A.J. Brown, his press conference for now, and then we'll get into some of the other stuff. Did you get a chance to see his press conference or hear any parts of his press conference?
I got to see a little bit of it. Just talking about kind of the friendly competition he has with Quinyon Mitchell and everything.
Yes.
Like, he says that he doesn't talk much, but he's came out and said, "Yo, that route was trash."
Yes. I was just talking about that.
I love seeing that sort of thing. You know, it's great. And especially it's a whole iron sharpens iron type of thing. And I think it's just going to make Quinyon Mitchell that much better in the long run.
Yeah, man, pretty much all the players had an interview, right? So I may not remember everybody's because everybody pretty much did an interview. But there was some that stuck out to me at Devontae Smith's one. So Devontae Smith got up, talked about the team. I wasn't able to make the voluntary OTAs. As some things he had to handle. He wasn't able to make it every day, but he was there some days. But he was there for the mini camp thing this week or whatever. So he's basically, you know, talking about running routes, the difference in the defense, and he was the first one that brought up, in this offense. He was the first one that brought up how they have more freedom in this offense, and him and A.J. Brown don't want to really say anything about it because they want to hold it back for the season. But you can tell that they seem more excited, more relaxed in this new offense and more looking forward to it. Now, again, I want to go back to only 7-on-7s. Nobody's hitting right now, right? We're playing 7-on-7s. We're not in full pass. We're not doing those things, but they're getting the mental reps. They're getting the rhythm. They're getting catch the ball, throw the ball, get interceptions, pass breaks. All those things are happening. So Hurts hasn't had the best go at it, but neither has Kenny Pickett. There's been some early rumors that, Jalen Hurts been outplayed so much by Kenny Pickett. They're both getting picked at a very strong rate, but that's what happens when you have so many guys that you can throw in. We saw Ringo get some work with the ones this week. I did forget to mention that Keely Ringo did get some work with the ones this week as well. So there's been a lot of just guys getting opportunities and just showing what they're able to do. And I don't think there's going to be a big switch up on one side. I think we know who one corner is going to be. One thing I did forget to mention that A.J. Brown said, so I'll just go ahead and go back to it now. I'm thinking about it. Was he was talking about he likes the young corners like DeJean, DeJean. I keep wanting to say anything besides DeJean, but DeJean, as well as Q, as well as the other guys. All the young guys, Ringo, all those guys are very aggressive and they chatter with him. He says, like, when you run the routes against like Bradbury, you know what I'm saying, and Slay, they don't really say too much because they're OGs by now, you know what I'm saying? So they more like, yeah, okay, I got you, whatever. But the young guys, they hungry, they be chirping, they be putting their hands on you, not like in a nasty way, but, you know, like pushing you and stuff and trying to show and stand out, which is what you're supposed to do, and he loves that. But one of the questions that Devontae Smith was asked, I wanted to make sure I touched on, and if I forget anything when you guys saw it, definitely please bring it up. But they asked him about his contract and how does he feel that other guys are getting paid more, and does he feel like he should have waited? So his response was very Devontae Smith-ish. He says, what I got is life-changing money for me. I'm good with it. Congratulations to those guys for getting their money, but I'm good with what I got. I'm excited for them. I'm happy for everybody that got their money, but I wanted to be in Philadelphia, and I wanted to make sure that what I got worked so that we can keep things together. See, that's important. It's a younger player just getting his first big payday. Instead of going out here and trying to get this Justin Jefferson money and all that, he got a nice payday. He did. I agree. But at the same time, there were guys that got more. But again, the goal is to win in Philadelphia. So sometimes some of the guys that could get a little bit more say, no, you gonna hold back on that. This is what I can accept, so that we can still do what we got to do, keep guys around so that we can try to win. Because you can get paid top dollar, but can you win when you're getting paid top dollar? And let's keep in mind the difference too is Minnesota is not paying a quarterback this year. They got a rookie, right? Philadelphia is paying a quarterback this year. He's far from a rookie at this point. So a lot of different moves, but I like that fact that he's looking long-term and thinking about what's best for the team. And then while we're talking guys that we know are going to be on the field a lot catching balls, there's one more that we know for sure. That's Dallas Goedert. So in his press conference, Dallas Goedert was basically talking about how much better Grant Calcaterra looks this year on running routes. I still don't trust him as a guy to block because I don't know what's going to happen up here. He start blocking and getting hit. But he said he looks better. He's getting a lot of the reps because Jack Stoll is now gone. So he's basically getting like those number 2 reps. And then he feels like he looks a lot better. One thing I want to focus on his press conference was very simple. He said something that was really like Philadelphia. He said, hey, I can catch balls is great, but if we need Devontae and AJ to catch 100 balls this year and I only get 20, but we win games, I'm fine with it. If I have to do 1,000 yards for us to win games, I'm good with that too. I just want to win, right? I want to, get back to the Super Bowl and win. So that's the type of guys that I love having on the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys that just say, I want to win. I'm not worried about the individual stats. I'm not worried about being the highest paid player. I want to win games. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Go ahead, White.
It was a lot.
No, yeah, it seems like everybody's really bought in, at least on the offensive side of the ball. As far as AJ, Dallas, Smitty, that's exactly what you want to hear, because this is going to be the offensive core for who knows how long at this point. It's already been a couple years. It's looking like we're going to have it to like 2028, 2029. So, I mean, we're going to be eating good. And luckily, we were able having these guys taking somewhat team-friendly deals to stick around a little while longer. So as long as we're able to have some consistency on the offensive side of the ball as far as game planning, there's no reason we shouldn't be winning, 12, 13 games a season, with this offense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course you like to hear guys say stuff like that. But also we know Dallas Goedert ain't never healthy, so I guess he knows it's gonna be one point in time where he ain't gonna be on that field. So yeah. But yeah, I mean it's the teamwork that I like to see, and that's how you know that for a lot of our players, it's not about money, because we've seen prior players who have took pay cuts who probably could have went to other teams and got paid a lot more, but because they wanted to stay in Philly and just heard that, when a lot of players left, they wish they would have never left to go to a different team. So, I mean, yeah, we might have the worst fan base, but we also have the best fan base and the best team on the East Coast, if you ask me. And as far as Smitty go, I'm really not surprised, because I know I've seen 2 articles, I think last week, a week before last, when they were showing Jalen's house and they were showing Smitty's house, and they have like this real small, it's not small, but it's a modern house. It's not a mansion. And that just goes to show you that it's not about money for them. Like, they want to make money, but it's also about football and making sure they can take care of their families, but not to the point where they got to have all these cars, all this jewelry, these huge houses. So, I mean, you can't ask for nothing better. I mean, like, I'm glad that we got the players that we got, because they're really humble. And I think that's what makes the team a lot better, when you have a lot of humble players and they're not just money hungry. You see CJGJ found out, and he that's why he back. So,
Yeah, I think it sets a good example and precedent for a lot of the young guys coming in as well. It's a lot of that leadership we've been talking about, all off season that was severely lacking last season. So it's a good start. And I mean, especially hearing about, I think, was it AJ that mentioned that like Saquon was the one that was starting up like a lot of like the team building activities, like going out golfing and doing his other stuff. So, I mean, it's great to hear that they're actually like bonding.
It was him and Goddard.
Oh, okay. Goddard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was him and Goddard that was saying Saquon was starting up, and he's part of a lot of the different activities. But yeah, it was definitely both of them. But yeah, it says a lot about what Saquon's bringing to the table. So, good people, we're about to take our first commercial break. We'll be back in a few.
Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We're going to see about Cup. and running back Kerryon Williams to return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube and where you can find podcasts. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central on the Sotoba Media YouTube channel. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete!
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sotoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So definitely some more players that I want to talk about, but we're going to sprinkle in a couple of coaches, and then we're going to talk about some more next week. So we're going to talk about players and coaches interviews again next week because there was a lot of them, and there's a lot of good stuff they said. But Vic Fangio. Got to bring up Vic Fangio. The reason we have to bring up Vic Fangio is because the main part of Vic Fangio's interviews that I love was he was talking about old school, right? He's talking about making everybody work, versatility in players, and accountability, right? He's going to do something a lot of coaches don't do. He's going to have the defense learn all of these plays, and then as the season goes along in different situations, he's going to whittle them down. So instead of teaching them a little bit at first and then expanding it, he's going to teach them everything at first and then whittle it down as they go, which I think might be a good approach because you have so many guys on this team that seem to be very intelligent from the way they interview, the way they talk, and the way everyone's reporting that they're grasping the differences in the playbooks. Because thinking about it, again, new offense and a new defense being installed. So it seems like they got a lot of guys that are going to be able to handle it, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Got some rookies, new guys to the team. They don't even know the old scheme anyway. So a lot of good things are happening, and I think Vic Fangio's defense is part of it, and respect. He's a guy that you listen to him talk, he just has your respect, right? You just respect him because he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He's able to articulate it very well, and he stays on the focus of team, right? He's there to He wants the defense to be good. He understands that he's asking these linebackers to do a lot, and safeties. In this type of defense, especially your linebackers, but safeties to an extent, they do a lot. There were times where they put 4 cornerbacks on the field at one time on those guys on the offense in some of the things. So you're seeing like little bits of what Vic Fangio wants to bring to the table. He just wants to switch things up, get it back to a consistency level, help guys be the best player they could be. Right. And then talking about that, there's 2 interviews I have to slide in here. Jordan Davis. So Jordan Davis, one of the better interviews. This guy should be mic'd up all the time, in my opinion. Jordan Davis, very articulate, brother. Right. He gets in there, he talks, he tells you what's going on. He explains how he's about the same weight. But you can look at him, he's saying no way he's about the same weight, but he explains it's lean muscle. He gained muscle. He worked on transforming his body this offseason so he could still have weight and still be strong, but it'd be lean muscle versus fat, right? Which lean muscle is going to look smaller. So he said that was a focus of his offseason. He worked on it. He wanted to be in the best shape. He was asked about Coach Fangio and his coaching style, and he was basically like, look, I've had coaches. He basically said I had Kirby Smart, and Kirby Smart's the worst. And he said, not the worst, but he's very strict. So he's used to different types of coaching. He's fine with, being coached a different way, being coached more like, hey, this is what's going to happen. You don't like it, too bad. This is what you're paid to do. Get out there and do it versus, how do you guys feel about this? And, we're going to do this for this week. Then we're going to do this. You guys don't want to do that. Then we're going to do this. No, you're sticking to the things. Jalen Carter also came up after Jordan Davis talked. And he talks about how they've been staying on the field after practice, how Jordan Davis probably went back to the field after his interview just to work on footwork, speed, get their stamina right, understanding that this season is coming. These guys, along with, Milton Williams and everybody else is playing on the line, is going to be asked to do a lot. They're going to be asked to play a lot. They've talked to players who played for Vic Fangio before, and they let them know, like, hey, look, you're going to have cardio for days. You're going to have to be able to handle it. And Jordan Davis was the one that said how they do the sprints and different things like in the middle of practice. Like they'll have half practice. Then they'll do that when you're already worn down, you're already tired. Then after that, you still got to go do more practice. And that's, just to build up their game cardio without them being in a game time situation right now. So a lot of old school coaching, not a lot of the, let's walk through it, but actually let's do it because Vic Fangio is an old school coach. So I think he's going to be great. Jalen Carter was like, hey, I'm pushing myself. I want to be the best version of me. I understand that guys that played for Vic last year were getting 800 plus snaps, 900 plus snaps, and we're over here getting 500-600 snaps and, not in the best shape that we could be in. But you have to go through a full NFL season or just like any other sport to kind of understand what it is that you need to work on and what it is that you need to improve on. And now they've been through that. They've both been through an entire season. They get in the right shape. They have the right frame of mind. They're pushing each other, and they want to be the best. So I'm excited about Vic Fangio coming, hearing the players talk about him and what he's instituting. And I'm also excited about the effect that he's having on the young guys. And that's one of the things I said I would be surprised if he doesn't have a positive effect on at least the young guys because they need that. They didn't have that last year. They need that guy to push them and say, hey, you're going to be playing 800-900 steps. So, you can go out and look bad or not. And we go find somebody else, but we want to keep you. So we need to get right. So, Diva, we'll go first with you on this one. Any thoughts on that on the 5 to 7 minute review?
I mean, I love Jordan Davis. He's always been one of my favorites. He, a lot of times he don't really talk a lot. I think he started to talk a lot at the end of this season. But I've always loved Jordan Davis and just the energy that he, has brought. And I'm glad he was able to show people, you know what I'm saying, that he's able to lose because it was body fat. He had more body fat than he had muscle. So he lost the body fat and now he's all muscular. So I think people will really see the Jordan Davis that they've been hoping to see. A lot of us already saw it. But yeah, Jordan Davis is one of my favorites. So I'm really ready to see, how he can maneuver now that, he doesn't have as much body fat. Like, boy was already fast. Like, he's going to be faster. So y'all better be scared.
Saw him chasing Josh Allen down last year.
And he was big then. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I don't want him to be too small because you need that weight to block that middle. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So people can't just run you over.
That's the beauty. He's still the same size. I mean, the same weight.
Same
It's just
weight.
lean
He's just
muscle.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more muscle and have as much body fat. And I watched him squat when they was watching Saquon. Like my boy was squatting a lot, so I already knew. Oh my boy. But as far as the Vic Fangio interview, love to see it. I mean, Vic Fangio's been around for a very long time, so you expect to hear him talk about like old school type of defense. I'm just glad that we finally have him and not the replicas of him. So, and a lot of people a lot of the team is talking really good. I know Miami really didn't talk, they've been talking bad since he left. So, I'm just excited to see. I think our boys are ready for that hard work just by having the last two coordinators that they had. It was just garbage. So, I think they're ready for the hard work. And then that's the beauty of teaching them all these plays, so you're not just running 4 and 5 different plays over and over and over. Like they'll know different plays, and then they'll know how to do the different plays, and then he's going to tailor it to them once the season starts, so he's able to tailor it to each team. That's the thing that we lack. Like a lot of our defense couldn't tailor the defense to each team. We kept running the same plays with every team, like they were going to be set up the same way. So I'm ready to see how the boys work up under him. I think it's going to be really dynamic, more dynamic than it was when we saw it in 2022. But yeah, I love it. I'm ready. I mean, it kind of in a way reminds me of old Jimmy. We ain't had a good coordinator since Jimmy died. So I'm ready.
I feel it. What about you, Wyatt?
Yeah, I think with Fangio, it's going to be a lot more structured. Of course, like you mentioned, it seems like we're incorporating everything all at once. That way, it's like what Diva was saying. Last year, they were just kind of scrambling, trying to figure out what was working, what wasn't. Hopefully, in this case, since they know everything, they can kind of whittle it down and figure and kind of know exactly what's going to counteract against what the offense is trying to do. But it seems like everybody that talked on the defense mentioned how old school of a coach that Vic Fangio is. And I definitely think he's going to be a huge positive influence on a lot of the younger guys because he's going to hold them accountable. And it's kind of, I feel like the Miami Dolphins thing, like them talking down on Fangio, I feel like it's kind of like you don't know what you have until it's gone type of thing. Cause like he was saying, we've been through some trash coordinators, so we can kind of appreciate what Fangio brings to the table and what he's trying to do. So I feel like that maybe set in like once Miami kind of has like a downward run as far as like a defensive coordinator or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to work hard as well too. I mean, out there in Miami, you want to party and everything, I don't know how it is down there, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to work out for the better. Like I mentioned, it's going to be a lot more structured. So hopefully a lot of these, we don't have guys running into each other, leaving people wide open across the middle of the field. I think a lot of people are putting their trust in the Fangio for all the right reasons. It's just a matter of will it translate out there on the field.
Definitely.
I feel it. All right. So Benny says, hearing the players talk about Vic just confirms the BS Miami players are softies and don't want to be coached hard.
Yeah, they probably don't. They don't like that hard, but we like it in Philadelphia. Like that's what Jim Johnson did. Man, and Buddy Ryan. Stop playing.
Fangio said he wanted more practices out there. And I mean, we got mandatory training camp for the first time. We haven't done in the past like 2-3 years.
We need that, man. We really need that. And I didn't like that we took that away. We talked about it on here too. Like you need to work. Like they don't play enough games in the preseason. They don't have the mandatory mini camps and stuff. So you're not giving them the opportunities to be as successful as they can be. And you look at them crazy when they're not. And then you got a new coordinator anyway. You got a whole lot of new players that had been bothering me today, y'all. But
they claim preseason they was gonna play. Well, that's what Silly Sirianni said this year, that they were gonna play more of the main players in preseason, which they need to.
I mean, you can't play them no less. They played like 2 series the whole preseason last year. So all you gotta do is play what you did last year. Like, what are we talking about?
It still was trash.
You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't get the reps. Like you got to give them the reps. So some other highlights. Like I said, we're gonna dig into this some more next week. But some other highlights from some of the press conferences, because I want to talk about that top 12 wide receiver list. I want to talk about that. Top 12 wide receiver trios list, right? But before we get to that, 2 other ones that stuck out to me. Brandon Graham talked about a lot of young players and mentoring the players, and how even when he's done playing, you're still going to see him in that facility, that, you know, taking over a leadership role. He's looking for guys to pass some of that leadership to this year. It helped transition because he's going to be gone after this year, not from the team, but from playing. He says, this is going to be my last year playing, but I'm still going to be part of this organization.
Right.
We talked about how you get the little mini camps and stuff. You get a little time off, a couple of weeks, so you maintain your stamina and everything. So you come back for training camp and you're still in good shape in August.
Mm-hmm.
So how he was saying how important it is to do these, because then you get that little break and then you come back and then you're ready to go and kind of ramp everything up, but you still get that time with your family in July and everything. You talked about, you know, missing Cox and Kelsey and how other people have to step up into the role, how he has to be more of a leader. You know, we talked about grooming other guys, but Lane Johnson had a very insightful interview as well. He talked about some of the other guys on the team, like Mekhi Becton coming in, Tyler Steen, how really great he's been playing, how they're comparing him to Brandon Brooks.
Yeah.
Type
Steen's a beast now.
Jeff Stoutland is saying this. And let me tell you, if Jeff Stoutland says that you are reminding him of somebody like Ryan Brooks, you're a very good player.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But he's had the time, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't rotate enough last year, so he barely had the time. I mean, when we saw him, we saw good, but it wasn't enough time.
Mm-hmm.
That was on. A lot of those things should have been in the control of, I think, the positional coach. Like Stoutland should be able to say who's coming in and out on the line, if somebody needs to be rotated in those situations. But I feel like a lot of that was Mr. Sirianni himself and his hand-picked OC who he didn't let do his job. So I think that's where a lot of that came from. But I completely agree with you, Diva. I'm not just disagreeing at all. Mm-hmm. You have to get guys ready. And I whined and complained about that a lot last year. You got Steen. You say you bring him into play him. You playing the guy that's the center, Cam Jurgens, at guard all the time, and he's playing center now. You know, Lane was like, Jurgens is not a guard. He is a center. You can tell the difference. You can tell he's been getting the reps in and everything. He talked about being a leader, how he feels like he's got at least about 5 or 6 more years left. He said he feels like he's going strong. He feels better now than he has the last few years. Of course, he loves Stout. He loves this Vic Fangio style and everything so far. They're just all the veterans are saying the same thing. Everything's cool right now, but what's it gonna look like when we put those pads on, right? That's a big thing for a lot of the veterans, and I do agree and understand that, because it's crazy how that can be so different. Mm-hmm. When you put those pads on, everything feels a little different to you. Everything's, you're not hitting the same, you're not being hit the same. Everything's a little bit crazy, it's a little bit heavy, it's hotter. But you have to get to that point. So as of right now, we're getting to that point. And I feel that the morale is up. I feel that guys want to go out and play hard for these coaches. These coaches understand the teams that they have, and they're being motivational. They're setting up parameters. They're teaching them. They're getting these guys ready so that they have confidence in them when the season starts. And also to jump back to Fangio, because y'all know I always have to jump back. I don't know why, but I do. But another thing that Fangio talked about was how when things are not going the way that they want, they're going to go back to basics. They're not going to change their game plan. They're going to go back to basics, right? If they're not out there, if they're out there and they're not playing like they should, they're going to just peel it back to the basics, and they're going to do the basics, and they're going to execute those. They're going to rush. They're going to cover where they're supposed to. If they're in zone, you're expected to stay in your zone. You're expected to talk. You're expected to hand off your players. If tackling is of the utmost importance. So a lot of things that weren't there, as Diva said, we didn't have the person. We had their lackeys. Now we got the guy. So let's see what happens now that he's here. So
that just makes sense, though. Go back to basics. That's what we lacked last year, was basics. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody tackled. Like, that's basic football. It's common sense.
Yeah. And to go into what you were saying, like, about BG's press conference, the statement you didn't mention was he kind of said the quiet part out loud, what everybody kind of already knew already, but nobody really said within the building, was said that last year we didn't have the right coaches in the right positions. And he's saying that this year, he's saying that you can really see that everybody is really truly believing and truly buying in to what they're doing. And it's like, we haven't really heard that kind of talk, like the actual true talk of what happened last year. I mean, Kenny Gainwell kind of alluded to it in that one interview on a podcast that he did. But you got BG coming out and saying that that there was something going on behind the scenes last year that they're really trying not to let out. Maybe hints of it here and there, but they're not trying to let like the whole story out.
Oh yeah, that was definitely going to be coming because there were several people who mentioned some things on the low that yeah, we definitely need to discuss. Diva, any thoughts that you have?
I mean, BG is always one of my favorites. I'm glad that he came back one more year, to kind of help these young boys out. But yeah, I mean, everybody knew we didn't have what we needed. I mean, it was obvious. It was blatantly obvious that we didn't have the right coaches in the right positions to do anything with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm surprised we won as many games as we won. I think the football guys was with us the first half, and after that, it was like, oh no, y'all playing around. I'm gone. But I mean, yeah, you gotta love somebody like BG. I love the fact that even though Kelsey's been gone, I mean, he's still been in the building. I think Fletcher Cox has still been there. So that just goes to show you like how deep this runs for us. And yeah, I'm just ready. Somebody said something about Milton Williams. That's what I was wondering because Milton Williams was playing pretty good last year when he played.
No, Milton Williams is our defensive end. So he's not on the bench. He's actually our defensive end. Travis, appreciate you checking in with us, man. But yeah, Williams is on the bench. He's the starting because they're doing 3 players. So a lot of the talk, and it's fair where you may not realize that because a lot of the talk is about 2 specific guys. But Williams is the other guy that's going to be on that line. So he's going to be playing for sure. No questions, no doubt about it. Milton Williams is going to be getting in for the Philadelphia Eagles. He is, again, our starting defensive end. So we got the defensive end, Milton Williams. No tackles, Jordan Davis. Defensive tackle is Jalen Carter. That's the 3-man front that we're going to have for this season. Benny says BG is lobbying to be a coach. Yeah, I would too. At least let me be an assistant to one of the assistant coaches or the coordinators or something. And we talked, and Benny says something from another player I definitely wanted to make sure we discussed. He says, "Let's get the pass on because I'm ready to hit an MF." And that was
he said that. Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk
Nolan
about
looked
him.
bigger too.
Oh yeah, he did. He put on some muscle.
So Travis said Ringo starting ahead of Q and Dejan, Isaiah Ricks, etc. So you got to realize with the practices, Travis, they're trying some different things. Ringo did get some starting time, but on the official depth chart, it's actually Slay and Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell are the 2 starting corners. And then right now behind them, you've got Bradbury and Isaiah Rodgers. I like Isaiah Rodgers being behind Darius Slay because he was out of football for a year, right? And even though he came back in great shape and everybody says a lot of great things about him, I think just having a little opportunity to learn and then also remembering this. Darius Slay is going to miss a few games hurt too. Let's be real. He's not going to go out there the whole season and play without getting hurt. He's going to pull something, hurt something, or get hit and not want to play for a few games and act like he got something hurting because that's Slay at this point in his career. And he's an OG now.
Hey, man, he's got to be there for his kids.
Rodgers, I think, will get some time there. Yeah, you got to be there for the kid, man. You got to be able to play with the kid when he leaves the game, man. So, you're going to need a guy behind him, right? And then at the right corner, you got Bradbury second, but we know he's not gonna stay there. And then Ringo
already hurt. He in the blue 10 already.
Right. from doing backup drills, trying to play safety. So then you got Ringo behind Mitchell, right, which I don't mind. And see what I remember with DeJean is that he's going to be versatile. So he's going to play some safety. He's going to play some corner. He's going to play some nickel corner. So he's listed as the backup nickel corner right now, but that doesn't mean he'll stay there. And even if he does stay there, he's going to be playing some at safety as well. So there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to be happening. Trust me when I tell you, from everything I'm saying, yeah, I saw that too. everything that they're saying is going to be a lot of guys playing. So it's not going to be the two starters playing the entire game at corner. They're going to be moving people around. They're going to be getting guys involved. They're going to be getting everybody experience and getting ready to play.
That's what we need.
Yeah. And then Isaiah he told AJ he was going to get 2 interceptions. And AJ said, not against me. But good luck, but not against me.
I've been hearing Isaiah has been having a great training camp so far. Not training camp, but
Isaiah,
OTA.
yeah, he was with the twos. He was with the twos today. He showed off with them. He did a good job. Devin White is getting some high praise along with Bond. They are.
Yeah. Saw they were
White,
starting today.
Yeah. White comes over from Tampa Bay. He kind of understands the system that they're being in. He's got guys that have played in the system. He's played in it before. So he's going to look good, especially early on, because other guys are catching up. But Zach Bond, he was brought in right to play. Some of these guys are going to stay. Some of them are not. So this is the question that I find entertaining at this point, which is would you guys like Bond to start or D? So we haven't seen anybody playing any pads. We haven't seen anybody really hit. We haven't seen a lot of Dean because he's still at the end of rehabbing and getting ready. Him and Sidney Brown as well as some other people. So we haven't seen enough to say who we would want to start. I get these conversations going to happen, but for me, I got to see them in pads and I got to see them in the preseason against other teams before I say who I want to start. You know what I'm saying? Because looking good in shorts is great, but if you can't look good in shorts, you should probably be cut right away. You know what I'm saying? If you're on defense and 7-on-7s and you can't look good in shorts, when they're not running the ball, right? It's all going to be throws, and you can't get the job done. I mean,
yeah. And with the way that Vic Fangio's defense is going to be switching it up a lot, we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys going in and out from being with the first team and second team and whatnot. You're not going to see the same guys consistently at one spot.
Facts.
There's going to be a lot of it. Definitely going to be a lot of that. So I know I said we would talk about the thing. We will do that. But before we do that, Nolan Smith looks like he's been juicing. My man is swole.
Don't say it out loud. They're going to drug test him.
But no, I mean, when I say
it's the show,
what it's from what he looked like at the beginning of last year, but you could see like even throughout the season, him putting on some bulk. He did his press conference and he talked about how he still talks to Stein, and how Hassan Reddick is one of his mentors, and he looks at the game a different way, and learning from him, just sitting and learning was a great experience. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was there. He talked about just learning, and whenever his opportunity comes, he's just going to be ready for it. He understands he's a rookie. He has a lot to look forward to. He's been wanting to be part of this organization since he was like 5-6 years old. So I really like what's happening with that. The fact that these guys are really taking this seriously. And another thing that was said was BG said, we're not really hazing the rookies like we did like when we came in. We're more like, hey, you come in here and help us win. Like we're more focused on trying to get the wins than rookie hazing at this point. We're trying to get everything together and
we're building something here.
Absolutely. So Travis says Dawkins said he loved interchanging movement of the defense and the versatility against the high spread NFL offense. Oh yeah, he did. Brian Dawkins did say that. Brian Dawkins should also be part of this organization as far as some type of role.
Yeah, he was for a while.
I mean, he was. He said he didn't like the way things was going. I don't know if that had to do with the higher. I think it had something to do with the higher up. So
yeah, because I know it was like through the 16, 17, 18 seasons because he was there during that Super Bowl season within the organization.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a guy that needs to have a role back with the team as well. Personal opinion, of course. But I'm very excited from what I'm hearing from all the guys, and we'll talk about some more interviews and we'll break down some of the coaching stuff next week. We'll have more interviews. I'm sure that'll happen between now and then, so some of them will be running over each other, but we'll make it work. But we are going to take a quick commercial break. After said commercial break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the top 12 NFL wide receiver trios and you guys' thoughts in the chats as well as our thoughts on this. So let's go.
Whether it's the men's college game,
The way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
the women's college game,
And how passionate Ancient Reef was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
the WNBA,
AJ Wilson Brown stood 1-2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young,
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA like, oh, okay, then we LA Knight hopped out the car, let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel. Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy and now begins a future one of matrimony, or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network proudly presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson, live every weekday morning beginning April 29th at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
Get in the game at BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. Over 50 sports, live betting, online casino, horse racing, esports, and more. Start now and enjoy easy deposits, fastest payouts, and the biggest bonuses. And for over 25 years, BetUS is a name you can trust. Mention TV 150 now and get up to 150% in bonuses. BetUS, we've got your game. Call or visit betus.com now to join.
All right, good people. It's got that round of commercials taken care of. So we're back. A couple of comments. First, I want to shout out 502 Angel Radio, as you definitely will be hearing us there. If you are listening anywhere besides the Eagles Elite channel, we would greatly appreciate if you would go to YouTube, type in @Eagles Elite Podcast. Make sure you hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. That way you can get the notifications when we're going live. You like this, you sharing us so other people can hear the wonderful things that we're doing if you like it. And also, them subs are definitely a help. So appreciate everybody that has and everybody that will. We're going to speak it positively to effect. But just to slide into this. So this was created by CBS. Top 12 wide receiver trios for 2024. I'm very interested in because they're doing trios, not just the top two. So we'll start with number 12. Number 12, we have Tennessee Titans, and their trio that is being referenced here is DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd, who's coming over from Cincinnati, because can't pay everybody when you got to pay your QB and your top wide receiver, and maybe your second wide receiver, maybe not. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the trio of Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyler Boyd being the number 12 wide receiver trio in the NFL?
That sounds about right to me.
It's not too bad. It's a talented group, but I don't know if it's nearly as talented as what we're going to be seeing. But it's decent. You just need to have a quarterback that can sling it to them.
That part.
That is a question. That is a question about them being top 12 when the guy that's throwing the ball, old Big Willie Styles, I'm not sure. We'll see if he improves this year or not, but that's what CBS thinks, right? So at number 11, they have the Dallas Cowboys and the trio of CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert.
If you're looking at the just trios, if we're not taking quarterbacks into account, I'm going to flip flop that 12 and 11.
Yeah, I mean DeAndre
Brandon
Hopkins
Cooks
is
is
over CD Lamb now.
They need to pay CD if you're going to
I
be
guess
around.
we're taking trio without pass coverage. Yeah.
And CD ain't been showing up
And
either.
the thing with CD's main thing has always been the slot. He gets good numbers because he plays a lot in the slot, and this is not a hate thing, but this is the truth. He plays in the slot a lot, so you're getting matched up against a slot corner, linebacker, sometimes a safety. He's not spending a lot of time having a corner lined up across from him. I think that's smart because he is a guy that can be a 1 or a 2 on somebody's team, but you're putting him in that place where he's always going to have a mismatch for the most part. That helps his numbers, increase. It doesn't necessarily equate to playoff success, but it does help inflate the numbers. And in Tolbert, I mean, I would say a lot about like who is this guy as the third wide receiver, but we on this list too, and so yeah, I'm just not even gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there on that one.
I'm not gonna go there because you got to be you can't be casting stones if you are living in a glass house. And, we don't even know who the number 3 receiver is going to be, which is what's crazy. We should know that in Philly, but we don't as of yet. That's okay because we will find out and we will pull it together because that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. All right, so at number 10, we have the Los Angeles Rams. So this is the first one where I feel comfortable. Like, all right, we got a quarterback who does throw the ball for a lot of yards, and he has multiple guys that should have really good seasons. So the trio, of course, in question is Cooper Kupp, Nakua, and Tutu Atwell. Puka came out with 1,400, almost 1,500 yards last year. Kupp was not himself, but we know how that goes. And then Tutu came in the beginning of the season, but kind of once Cooper Kupp got back. But the offseason with all 3 working together, they're going to find a way to help those guys be better as a trio. And this is really probably, to me, the first true trio on the list, too. Right? Because, like, DeAndre Hopkins and Ridley as a number 2, I don't know. Boyd, when you're 1 and 2 are different from what you're used to, you may not be as effective. I mean, we know the Cowboys were like that, too. They got to just play the best at the third wide receiver. Can't say too much because of the situation. So you guys' thoughts on the Rams, number 10?
I'm surprised they aren't higher. I think that's a solid group they have there.
Yeah, I'm surprised they ain't higher either. Solid group though.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that,
but
then I started looking at some of the ones above them. Yeah, I was thinking that too, but then I started looking at some of the ones above them. I'm like, man. So we'll get to that. So number 9, the Minnesota Vikings. Trio of Justin Jefferson, Jordan Anderson, and then Trent Sherfield. So clearly Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, we get it. Trent Sherfield didn't get as many opportunities last year. But I think based off what he did when he did play, and taking over for KJ Osborne as a number 3, he'll definitely get the targets in that offense. And I think this will be a solid trio for them this year. So a little bit of forecasting, but I think it'll be a solid trio for them. You guys got any thoughts on Minnesota?
I don't know too much about Trent Sherfield, but I mean, Jordan Addison, he exceeded expectations last year, did well for me on my fantasy squad. And, Justin Jefferson, he's going to be balling out. I think another similar to Titans, the big question is going to be how good is their quarterback going to do for them?
Facts.
I definitely agree. But I think when you're looking at the trio, which I think is what they took into account, this is a good trio. But yeah, their quarterback will determine how good they are when the season's over.
Yeah, I just don't know too much about Sherfield.
Then number 8, the Seattle Seahawks. Their trio of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think that's a solid trio. You could pretty much move Lockett and Smith and Jigba around. You can move Metcalf and Smith and Jigba around. So I think this is a good one. I think this is one where you can move the pieces around and still get good play out of them. And we do know what the quarterback situation is going to be like. He didn't write home. He wrote him off, but he didn't write back.
And right back. Yeah, it's a solid trio in Seattle there.
Yeah, real solid.
Now, if we're talking about a team that we might swap out for the Rams, who could possibly be over or slide down, I wouldn't be mad if you said Minnesota, just because Sherfield still has to prove himself as more of projection, but I'm fine with that. But definitely I would say Tampa Bay with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then Trey Palmer. And the reason I would say that is because Chris Godwin is going to be hurt. We know.
Right.
Trey Palmer still kind of proving himself. And then Mike Evans, I mean, he's there. He's always been very productive, but at some point, you got to be slowing down some just due to age.
Yeah. Mike Evans been out that mug forever.
Forever.
Boy got some miles on him. Some miles.
Yeah, I think his last this contract he just signed with Tampa Bay, it was only a few years. Basically, everybody talking about he's gonna retire a Buccaneer now because of that contract.
I can see that.
And they're probably all right. Any thoughts, Wyatt?
No, I'm good, man.
Good.
I think, all right,
first
two
number
are all right.
6.
You guys made a lot of valid points.
Yeah. So at number 6, we got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and we're just gonna say whoever is the third wide receiver.
I like that.
Yeah, because the question you have to ask yourself, right, when we're thinking about who the possibilities are, right? Paris Campbell, Anaya Smith, Johnny Wilson, even John Ross. And I say this for this point specifically. John Ross is very fast. He's a very good player. He just had a lot up here that was affecting him when he was playing before. So he kind of turned it around, got his mind, his body right. So now he's back for another opportunity. I don't know if he'll make the Eagles, but I'd give him as good a chance as some of those other guys at the end, just because he's nice with it. Like, this is a guy that speed for days, hands catching the ball, following through, run the correct routes, assignments, things that were his problem, but not the speed. And he said he's just as fast as he was when he came into the league. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what he brings, and if he can be the one. But even if it's not him, even if it's, let's say, Paris Campbell, even if it's Williams or whoever, I think that third receiver is stepping into a really great position on this particular roster with this particular twosome. And I think they're going to get opportunities as long as they can haul the ball in. Not like our previous third wide receiver, Mr. Watkins himself, but can actually just haul the ball in and make the plays when you're called upon. I mean, they're gonna have a great season. And I think that's why we are ranked where we are, just because of the strength of really on GP for the top two guys, and then whoever that third is, we're number. I know you guys have some thoughts on us. So what you guys got?
I mean, we the Eagles. I mean, we deserve that number 6, probably deserve a number 4 spot, but yeah, I mean, but we have talent at that wide receiver spot. I mean, besides, like you said, Mr. Quez Watkins himself, that's not there anymore. Like we got talent. So yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to put bias aside, I would definitely say we need to be up a little bit more, maybe like 1 or 2 spots, just because of the consistency with AJ and Devontae both having over 1,000 yards in multiple seasons here together. And not only that, just being able to stay consistently healthy. They don't really miss a lot of games between either of them. When you look at a lot of this list, either that 1 or 2 wide receiver spot, one of those guys is going to be out multiple games. So I think as far as staying healthy and then consistently getting over 1,000 yards, I think that should boost us up a little bit. And it doesn't matter who that third spot is. It's going to complement both these other guys very well. So it doesn't matter who you throw in there. I think they're going to be eating, like you said, cool. But compared to everybody else that's on here and even kind of peeking at those first couple spots there, it's up ahead of us. You can slide us up maybe 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah.
I would just say I think the reason why we're here is because we don't firmly know who the number 3 is. If we definitively knew who it was, I feel like we'd be a little bit higher. That's just what I'm telling myself at least.
If this was duos, they'd still be hating on us. Cool, you know it.
Now, if it was duos, I would be going in if we were still at 6. Playmaker in the house, my co-host for Monarchs of Wrestling. He says, "The Elite Crew." What up, Playmaker?
What up, Playmaker?
All right, and then Travis says, Devontae Smith said last year offense lacked, so we should see a mass improvement in unpredictability. Yep, it did.
You need to.
It's a lot that was said that we didn't talk about so far this week, but we will be talking about that next week. Trust and believe, because there was a lot of strays and a lot of direct shots taken by players in their talks. So we're gonna talk about some of that next week for sure. I was watching it like, oh, them boys have been holding back long enough. Damn. Oh. All right, so at number 5, we got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and Juwan Jennings from the San Francisco 49ers. I don't have a problem with they being a little bit higher just because Juwan Jennings did get some on the team last year. We know what Ayuk and Samuel can do, assuming that they're both there this year. Of course, that's what we're assuming when we're doing this. So I don't have a problem with them being ahead of us just because that third is a little bit more solidified there. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Deebo just needs to stay healthy, and he also a running back as well. So I mean, I'm sure they're going to, even though it's a wide receiver trio thing, I'm sure they're taking that in account as well. But yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, yeah, they deserve to be up there.
Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, but yeah,
I hate them though, but
yeah.
but they deserve it.
You sign. I feel it. All right, and number 4. Now, this is one of the ones where if you were coming to me and saying, "Hey, this is a team that I think we should slide in and we should move up a spot, maybe still behind San Fran, but maybe we should be 5, and they should be 6, and then San Fran could be 4." It's the Cincinnati Bengals, and I agree with that because we know Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is nice. No doubt about it. I don't think anybody here would argue that. Anybody in the chat, I don't think he would argue that either. We know T. Higgins is, if he's there, because he ain't showed up yet. But if he's there, T. Higgins. No, but I mean, T. Higgins he's a good receiver. Because remember, he was hurt last year, so that's why his numbers don't look as good as they could.
True.
But here's where I would draw the argument. I know that Philadelphia doesn't have a defined third receiver yet, but they're gonna be better than Trenton.
Who the hell is Trenton Irwin? I never even heard of this dude. Steve Irwin's nephew. Who is this cat?
You stupid.
I never seen this dude in my life. He looked like a random generated dude you get on Madden after playing for 6 years straight, and they just had to auto generate players that aren't even in the NFL yet.
Bro. Bro.
Nigga, what you got?
Man, I don't know who that dude is either, man. They could have been a little lower. This is my opinion. You for real? You gonna throw a dude up in there that nobody even know? Ain't even had no stats last year. Like, bro, who is you?
Who is this guy?
I looked at
Where
this.
you
I
come
was
from?
like, who? I looked at this, and I feel like Mike Jones. I was like, who?
That guy ain't a kicker on one of these teams. He don't look like a wide receiver.
CBS
That was
smoking that.
crazy. Yeah, they've been hanging out with Tony Khan, who made this list in the top. All right, number 3, we got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Odell Beckham Jr. in Miami. I'm not a problem with this one at all. Like, you got the cheetah, you got Jalen Waddle, and then you got Odell Beckham as a 3. I don't have a problem with them being in number 3 at all.
Bruh.
My only problem is I feel like Odell is there because his name's Odell.
Right. Odell ain't been Odell since he left the Giants. Okay.
But you gotta remember,
right?
But you gotta remember, this is as their number 3, so he's gonna be going up against safeties. He's gonna be doing CeeDee Lamb type play. Yeah,
that boy ain't gonna be going up
Lamb.
against nobody like he did last year in Baltimore. You barely saw that boy on the field. I don't want to hear that. I'm not buying that. I'm sorry that he's
He's gonna be going up against his own body because he's gonna be hurt all season.
That's it. That boy
He's
gonna be
get
on
hurt
that
2 games
sideline.
in.
He might come in 1 or 2 plays, and that's it. You're not gonna see that boy out there, man. I don't want to hear that number 3.
When Deshaun came back to us, hurt every 2 plays.
Go and sit that out. I'm sorry, bro. He's not the number 3. He not gonna be the number. I'm telling you. They just said that right now. That boy is not gonna be number 3. That boy is going to be number 4.
I don't have faith in Odell right now. I'm the same way. I agree they need to be up there because those top 2.
Yeah, the top 2.
Tyreek are amazing. I agree.
Waddle, yeah. But Odell, OBJ, no.
Yeah, I
Y'all didn't want to give him number 3 props. Y'all was harsh, boy.
Oh man,
that's what we here for.
Y'all talking about me? Y'all harsh. Y'all talking about me? I'm just saying, y'all talking about me. Y'all harsh.
It's not harsh.
Y'all
We stating facts,
this man. Y'all basically said this man cannot be a number 3 receiver with 2.
He can't.
Speedsters.
Isn't that what he pretty much was with the Ravens?
Where was he at last year? My point.
Number 2.
Was he? I mean, he still didn't do not much at number 2.
Man, that man ain't playing enough to be number 2. I'm not listening to that either. That man wasn't even on the boy. Yeah, blackout. Number 2. Number 2 where? Doing what? I think Rieger had more touches than he did. Boy, stop playing. Stop playing. Go on, stop playing.
Shots fired.
Stop playing.
Shots
man.
fired.
I'm just saying.
All I can get at one is the day look with little Drew up in my mouth.
Be honest, man. Listen.
The James Harden meme.
All right, y'all. So check it. My
I
biggest problem on the list is number 2. This is my biggest problem. Number 2.
Bears.
So you tell me DJ Moore,
what?
Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze is the second best wide receiver trio in the league. All I can say to this is,
who is that?
Cap it.
I know DJ Moore.
Stop.
I think I know. Who was the last dude?
You know who DJ Moore is?
I know DJ Moore
in the NFL. Yeah,
but
yet
DJ Moore
he's part of the second best.
DJ Moore. I mean, DJ Moore was good when he was with the Panthers, but he ain't like that though.
Yeah.
And Keenan Allen, you talk about people hurt. Keenan Allen is whatever you paying Keenan Allen, you at least the best case scenario, you double paying him. So if you paying him $20 million, he's only gonna give you $10 million worth of games.
Listen, Keenan Allen is OJB number 2. Okay, like Keenan Allen is talented, but
I think OJB is Keenan Allen number 2 because Keenan Allen was putting up 1,100, 1,200 yard seasons.
Listen,
and only
they're the same.
7 games.
They one and the same. They both light skinned. They one and the same. You could just morph them together. Okay. All right.
I'm taking them the Dolphins, the Bengals. All the past 4 teams, I'm taking above Bears here. That's blasphemy.
They both light skinned.
Yeah, they both light skinned. You can morph them together. They both stay hurt. They're the same. They one and the same. They ain't no different. They one and the same.
No comment.
That is my travesty on the list to me. Like,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
some other ones I'm like, come on, now, but 2, and then on top of that, talking about quarterback,
Right. I think that has a lot to do with it. They hyping this dude up.
Stop your cap.
You talking about nail painting Caleb? Man.
Who they think this guy gonna be?
Diva can say that, we can't. So I will let Diva
They
say.
nail painting quarterback is what he's going to be with his pink wearing self is what he's going to be. Okay. All right.
And then last,
but that's disrespect,
but not least,
man. DJ Morto, like you put him over DeAndre Hopkins. Stop playing. Who wrote that? I need to email them.
Waddle.
And then and then number 1, I do agree with number 1. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. That's going to be a formidable trio. As long as Stephon Diggs don't start crying, arguing if he don't get enough targets, they should be fine.
Where you at
Because
now?
Stephon is still, this is the Houston Texans.
Oh,
Stephon is still, a solid 1 or number 2. Then Nico Collins, great year, and then Tank Dell coming off injury, great year. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this is a solid trio to me. I don't have a problem, especially since 2 of them are young guys are still ascending, and we don't get to see even more from them. You got to pay more attention to the third receiver in Diggs. So yeah, I don't have a problem with this trio being number 1 at all.
I don't either. And then you add in the quarterback on top of that, Stroud. Yeah, I mean, most definitely.
Yeah, agree. Because Tank Dell could easily be like a 1 or a 2 as long as he stays healthy in the next couple of years. So that's a solid trio.
Mm-hmm. Pretty solid to me.
So it's always when you see these lists, you be like, y'all playing, because there's always a few people that we definitely don't agree should be where they at. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's part of it. We got somebody making the list that just be wilding out.
Listen, if you got DJ Moore at number 2, the Eagles should be at number
Bears
2.
fan made this list.
The Eagles should have been at number 2.
Chicago writer made that list.
Whoever made the list, they definitely be hanging out with Tony Khan. That's all I got to say. Yeah, so you know how I go with the list. Like we look at these lists all the time, and they be crazy. A lot of times they're just wrong. It is what it is. It definitely gives us something to talk about. Excited that we're getting to the point where we're starting to get this type of stuff, right? People starting to do some rankings on different positions and stuff, which means we're getting closer to where we want to be, which is football season.
Mm-hmm. 2 months.
Yep. So again, shout out 502 Angel Radio.
Shout out.
For those of you who are part of the actual YouTube and you're watching this on YouTube, the commercial in regards to BetUS, let me give you guys what to use so that your peoples can get a little bit of kickback from you getting up on there. So we're going to slap that on the screen here, and that's going to be http://bit.ly/Shady Sports Network -BetUS. You use that link, your peoples get a little kickback off you going on and placing your bets. Doesn't affect anything on your end, just help support us. So hey, have the opportunity to do so when you can. Make sure you put that code in when you're going on BetUS. All right, and any last words, Diva, before we get up out of here?
None. Fly Eagles fly. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And as always, we'll be back next Wednesday. Talk more Eagles.
You already know. Any last words, Wyatt?
# be elite. Go Birds.
Yes, sir. And for your boy, remember, I'm going to always remind you, tell 4 your friends and 4 your enemies. Just because they do not like you doesn't mean that they won't like us. And it's never where you start, guys. It's always where you finish.
You know it.
And with that, another episode is complete. We'll holler at you good people.